Okay guys, now originally this video was going to be mostly just on Bounty Hunter. Now, month of July is here, and we got the month ahead for July. And there was a little bit about the wilderness, so I thought, you know what? This video is supposed to be about wilderness updates and Bounty Hunter being removed, so I decided to just toss this in here. So, Elite Dungeons, Dragonkin Laboratory. Now, some of you guys might know, you guys might have read this. I hope you guys read this because you guys play RuneScape, so you should be reading the month ahead and kind of seeing what's being released. But for those of you guys who haven't really read this, don't know what's going on, and even for those of you guys who have read it and just want to see what another person's opinion is on it, that's what we're going to be going through. So, straight to the laboratory, build age go in the Northeast Wilderness by the Dragonkin. Blah 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 blah. Enter and you'll face wave after wave of dragons. First one, Astellarn, the first celestial dragon. Veraculith, the brother of the King Black Dragon. Plus more, but mouth wadded shut. Rewards are pretty tasty, including new upgraded elite tectonic masks and robe legs. Graphical update to existing tectonic gear. Dungeoneering experience and tokens. As with the first elite dungeon, it's for up to 3 players. It becomes easier with story mode. So basically, it's relatively similar to the first dungeon. Now, I didn't really go through it because I'm not much of a PVMer. I don't really enjoy that part. It's really this last little section right here that I want to talk about. It says, oh yes, the Dragonkin Laboratory may be in the wilderness, but the grouping system will offer free teleports if you want to dodge the decayers. You big fat cowards. So, I just want to touch really briefly on this. I don't want this to be like a 10-minute intro to this video, but so they put in the wilderness, and then they made a way to get to it without having to go to the wilderness. Yeah, I understand they needed to do this or else they were going to get a huge backlash from the PVM community. But, okay, so you can skip through the wilderness. What if you want to go through the wilderness? What if you choose to go through the wilderness? King Black Dragon. You can teleport to the King Black Dragon from Edgeville. If you go through the wilderness, you get a damage buff. Okay, let's take that into account for a second. What if you chose to go through the wilderness, you chose to incur those risks of going through the wilderness and getting PK'd? Shouldn't you get something? Shouldn't you either get a damage buff? You should get something. Now, personally, I don't think it should be a damage buff. You see the King Black Dragon. People don't give a fuck about the damage buff. It's such a small buff, and just being able to teleport straight to it means you can bring such good gear that you don't even need that damage buff. Now, the damage buff might be extremely helpful for the dungeon since it's a little bit harder than the King Black Dragon, but I don't think it should be a damage buff. If anything, I think it should be a defense buff. Maybe you get a perk for going through the wilderness that every so many hits, you have a chance to negate a hit. Or it scales down the damage of the dungeon. Or even better than that, why not just give them a loot bonus? Just give them a loot bonus and be done with it. Give them a, I don't know, 1 in 50 greater chance of getting a rare drop. Or you get some, don't know how the upgraded elite tectonic, ceramic, malevolent armor is going to work. I assume you get like scales or threads or something to upgrade them. Why not get double threads or double scales, whatever you use to upgrade that armor? Why don't you get double dungeoneering experience also while you're at it, double tokens? Damage buffs and defense buffs really aren't that important in modern day RuneScape's PVM. No one really cares about that. Because Jagex already made a way to complete. It's going to be hard, but it's not going to be impossible to beat these dungeons or bosses that they're releasing now without that damage buff. What drives the community, the PVM community, for the most part, in my opinion, is the loot. Give them an increased chance of loot, and not all of them, but I believe majority of them, well, okay, not majority. I'd probably say about 30%, 40% would be willing to take that chance of getting that greater loot by going through the wilderness. So, that's just what I was wanted to talk about from the month of July updates with you guys. So, let's move on to Bounty Hunter. Okay, here we have it. Bounty Hunter removal design. Now, this is the second time I've made this video or recorded this video. First time it was about 47 minutes long, which I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't want to sit through a 47-minute video on it. I did go extremely in-depth with it, and I went through every single part of this document. I don't think it needs to be that way, but I'm going to go over what the most important parts of this, because I encourage you guys, I put a link to this in the description of this video, because I want you guys to read it also, form your own opinions on it. Don't just take my word for it, don't just listen to me rant about it. It's something that, if you're interested in PvP, you should read also. Okay, so shutting down Bounty Hunter, don't need to go through that. Basically, it's just going to say, or hold on a second. Shutting down Bounty Hunter, they're talking about why it's going to shut down. Basically, it doesn't work. It's being abused. And then they go and talk about, basically, they're just going to reboot the worlds. And it's no longer going to be a Bounty Hunter world. So, rating emblems, basically, they'll be converted. You'll keep your points, but you'll be able to convert them to Wilderness Slayer points or Deathmatch. I think it's Deathmatch points. So, emblems. This is the first part I want to talk about. Emblems. Emblems will not be removed. Okay. They will instead be awarded by the Wilderness Slayer Master Vigora. Keyword Wilderness Slayer Master. Okay, so I believe someone else commented on one of my videos saying they're not removing emblems. They're changing it to Slayer. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I did not realize it was going to be a Wilderness Slayer Master. So, talking about this really briefly, talking about the balance, yin and yang, etc. You take something away from PvP, I believe you should add something back to PvP. You take something away from PVMers or skillers, you give something back to PVMers and skillers. You guys made content that didn't work, so you have to remove it. Make something that does work in order to fill its place. And that's what they're trying to do here. So, props to Jagex for doing that. So, Wilderness Slayer Master Vigora. Very good idea. I like it. Redistributing rewards. This is just going to talk about, they're going to redistribute it via Wilderness content. So, talking about Slayer Master Vigora. He'll act exactly like existing Slayer NPCs, with the exception he only assigns monsters that are in the Wilderness. So, you get Hellhounds. You kill Hellhounds in Taverley Dungeon, doesn't work. You kill Hellhounds up, where are Hellhounds? I think they're up east of the Wilderness Lever. I believe they're also, are they also in the volcano? I don't know. You kill them in the Wilderness, basically, bam, you're good, you're set. So he'll offer same amount of Slayer points as Movran, as that guy. I think he should offer a little bit more. You're in the Wilderness, but oh well. What makes Vigora unique is upon completion of a Slayer task in the Wilderness, the players will obtain or upgrade a Bounty Hunter emblem. For the emblem to be upgraded, it must be on the player throughout the whole task. Otherwise, a Tier 1 emblem will be obtained. So, this is the first part that I kind of had an issue on. And forgive me for a second, I'm going to take a drink. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, So, first issue I have. I believe it shouldn't have to go through the entire task in order to obtain the emblem or upgrade your emblem. I believe each time you kill a monster, you have a chance to upgrade that emblem. Depending on. I'll save that for a little bit later. What I was just about to say. But yeah, each time you kill a monster, I believe you should have a chance to upgrade that emblem. And I believe also that emblems shouldn't only be able to be obtained from a Slayer monster. I believe bosses in the wilderness should also have a chance to drop an emblem. So, that's the first issue. Going back down, new Slayer mobs for Vigora. This is something that I really enjoyed. Revenant task and special task, kill all bosses in the wilderness without baking. So, Revenant task. I extremely like this because Revenants is pretty much dead for the most part. All you really have there are bots. You had DH bots, Dorok bots, 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 Dorok bots. Basically, they have 2 or 3, 4, 5 4th braces on them. They just keep repelling, so they get immunity, and they sit at like 100 HP, and they just Dorok bomb the Revenants. You also had low-level pure bots, Obsidian Maul bots, that would only kill the lower-leveled ones. Basically, it's just heavily botted for Statius Warhammers, etc. I believe that putting Slayer monsters in there, putting them as a Slayer monster task, is a good idea. Because with that, you also have a little bit of leeway with messing around with the loot from them. Personally, I believe the loot should be slightly buffed. The chance rate, if you're on a Slayer task, you should have an increased chance of getting items the same way that wilderness or lava worms work. So, there's my kind of thoughts on that. So, special task, kill all bosses in the wilderness. What bosses are in the wilderness? We have Chaos Elemental. I guess the Wilderness Worm can be a Slayer boss, but I mean, it only spawns randomly, so I don't know how that would factor in. So really, the only boss we have in the wilderness that I can think of at this point is, I mean, there's Calgarian demons also, but once again, they spawn randomly. They're not always on a world. So, unless they're going to make Wilderness Worms and Calgarian demons a permanent feature, I don't think that. Well, I mean, odds are it'll factor in, but I don't see how that's really going to work. So really, we only have the Chaos Elemental. Unless they're adding new bosses, which we'll get to. They're adding new bosses, okay. Wilderness only shared drop table. Rare drop table only accessible via wilderness content will drop rare items. Drop table scale to the difficulty of the content. Okay. Location, Wilderness Slayer mob, scales to Slayer level. Rogue pickpocketing, muddy key, items on drop table. So these are the ways you can get that rare drop table. Pickpocketing, muddy keys, and Wilderness Slayer mobs. I don't think that should be the only chance. You should also get it from bossing. That's what I believe. So Wilderness Hilt, Adrenaline, basically all of the Bounty Hunter items, along with Bloodweed Seeds, Brawling Gloves, Fremnic Upgrade Patch and Preserved Meat, and Revenant Drop Enhancer. Those are going to be added to this rare drop table. But Shiz, what about the tier 88, or is it? I think they're tier 88s. What about the Bounty Hunter weapons? We'll get to that in a second, along with the new bosses. Okay, Wilderness Hilt, rare drop for main Wilderness Slayer monster. The drop scales with NPC Slayer level. Let me talk about this really quickly. Not specifically the hilt, but the way it drops. The chance to drop scales with NPC Slayer level. I don't think this is the way it should go. Or if you're going to do this, I believe there should be another step added. So, let's all agree, further you get into the wilderness, basically the more risk you incur. Why not make it also scale based on how deep you are in the wilderness? So, killing green dragons up near the lava maze on a Slayer task gives an even better drop than killing green dragons in 11 wilderness down there, southeast wilderness. Why not do that? I think that Jagex is hesitant to do this mainly because, one, it will cause more PVMers to go further in the wilderness and eventually die more backlash from the PVM community, but also because, yes, while going further in the wilderness, it's a little bit more riskier. You don't really need to risk in the wilderness. You can bring 3 items, kill things just fine. You don't risk, and it'll be fine. They don't want to, I don't know, add this increased drop when there's no risk involved. Because really, the wilderness, it's not what it used to be. It's not this big bad place you should never go. It's you can go in the wilderness, sit there for a couple hours, not die once. Now, if you don't understand PvP mechanics, you don't understand defensive abilities, how to freedom, anticipate, you don't know how to surge and escape, how to run, yeah, you're going to have trouble. But if you know that stuff, even a basic understanding of that, you can escape from 9 out of 10 PKers that attack you. Now, depending on how much that person PKs, whether or not they've got Morgan axes, whether or not they're using magic and using entanglements or ancient or ice barrage binding you. If they're good PKers, you're going to have less of a chance to escape. But ultimately, majority of the PKers in the wilderness are not super good. They're not that extra step up veteran max gear PKers. You mostly just have people in Royal with tier 90 weapons, tier 80 weapons, nothing super complex. So it's not really any risk involved, which is why I believe Jagex doesn't do anything that scales based on level of the wilderness, because it'll just be saying, hey, you go here, you get a better chance. There's no risk involved. Well, there's a little bit of risk. So large rune pouch, basically you skill in the abyss, you get these threads, etc. Ancient warriors equipment patch. This is the second kind of item I want to talk about. So it's a rare drop from Revenants. It's a Revenant only unique, so not on Chaos Elemental, which is bullshit. I mean, you don't even get shit from the Chaos Elemental. I've got like 15,000 Chaos Elemental kills. I've gotten, I think, 6 Ancient Warrior items for 15,000 kills. 6 item drops. And they're like, 2 of them have been Morgan Axes. It would not be overpowered at all. Chaos Elemental does not drop Revenant gear very often. That's why no one actually gets the Revenant or the Chaos title from Chaos Elemental. They just get it from Revenants. It's a task and a task only drop. So basically, it's going to be a rare drop from Revenants, but if you're on a Slayer task for Revenants, you have an increased chance of attaining this drop. Which, okay, good, fair enough. Revenant pet, very good. I like this. Basically, if they've got, it'll display Revenant kill count, and each time you kill Revenant, you have a chance to upgrade it. So it starts at Imp, goes to Goblin. If you get another pet drop, goes to Hobgoblin after, I don't know what the tier of Revenant it is. Basically, you have to get the drop so many times to finally upgrade it to Dragon. Unless you have the Bounty Hunter rating, in which case you'll keep the pet at whatever level you have it at currently. And it can also display your Bounty Hunter rating if you want to, but majority of people trade kills, so they're all at 1. Brawling Gloves, already available elsewhere. Tier 87 weapons. This is the big ticket item in here. So, convert the bandit camp to be a boss fight, where players can take on the full force of the camp and the 3 named bandits, which will have a chance to drop the tier 87 weapons. So, I think it's Speedy Keith is the ranger. He'll drop the bow. What is the bow? Decimation, I think. Black Heather will drop Obliteration, I believe it is. And Donnie the Lad will drop... What's the maul? Is it like... I think it starts with an M. Malediction, or I don't know. He'll drop the maul. So, all 3 will work together and enlist the help of the bandit camps around them in the most difficult surface world boss fight the wilderness has seen yet. So, let me take a drink, because I'm going to go in depth to this and talk about it. Or actually, yeah, I'll talk about it here. Okay, so, love the idea. Love their update in the wilderness. I think it's a fantastic idea, because the bandit camp has no point in this point in RuneScape. It's you kill it. It's very hard to kill. I tried killing it just to make this video. Didn't work out great, okay? I walked in there, and now I was unskulled, just to see what it would be like with everything attacking me at the same time. Did not work out great, okay? I didn't die, but I did have to kind of bail. So, pretty fucking hard already. So, I'm on board with this. I'm on board with putting new bosses in the wilderness. But I think Jagex is going about this a little bit differently than I think they should. So, how do I think they should do this? Basically, I think they should split up the camp. Make 3 separate three separate bandit camps, different parts of the wilderness. They should each put Speedy Keith, Black Heather, Donnie the Lad on each of these. Each bandit camp has a chest in the middle of it. Once you defeat the boss, you get a key, you unlock the chest, bam, you have a random loot table you get a drop from. Or, each of the bandits drops a part of a key. There's a chest, different part of the wilderness. You get the key, unlock the chest, get the item, bam. There's your drop. Personally, I like 3 separate chests. That way you can split it up and actually make it so you're fighting Black Heather. She's the mage. You get Black Heather's chest, Black Heather's key. You got a chance to get the mage weapon, the staff. I like that idea. Why do I believe they should split up the camps? And this is the main kind of thing I want to talk about in this video. And I want your guys' opinion on this. So, what do you guys think is going to happen if they put one camp, there's one camp per world, every world, and it's a boss fight that's difficult. And having to be in a bandit. So, let me talk about this real quick before I get in there. To get into the bandit camp without being attacked, you have to be skulled. If you're not skulled, you get gang raped by all the bandits. And it is not pleasant, okay? They will run a train on you. To get into there without being attacked immediately, you need to be skulled. I'm going to just assume right now they're going to keep this. They may not. I highly doubt they will. But you got to be skulled in order to actually have a chance of surviving. Bandit Camp is also in a multi-way zone. What do you guys think is going to happen if they make this brand new boss fight, put it in a multi-zone area, and you need to be skulled in order to enter? You're not only going to be gang raped by the bosses, you're going to be gang raped by every single mace team that's in the game. There is going to be a temper tantrum thrown by so many PVMers when they get mace teamed and lose their items. You split up the bandit camps. Now you have 3 different camps per world. That's 3 different locations that PKers have to check. You have one bandit camp. Someone can just hop. Look for soul split. Look for drops. bam, they got their target. If you split up to 3 different bandit camps, basically, you're making it harder for PKers to narrow down where the PVMers are going to be. The PVMers are going to be in the bandit camps. There's just 3 different options they have for that bandit camp. So, you saw this with Forenthi Dungeon. Forenthi Dungeon was heavily PK'd when it was first released. Or it was updated. And it was dead within about a week. I really hope that that is not going to be the case with this new boss they're adding to the game. If they split up 3 different camps, and also while you're at it, take it out of multi-way combat. Make it that multiple people can attack the boss at once. Make it so that, make so multiple people can attack the boss at once. But as soon as they're attacked, they're in a single-way combat zone. They can only be attacked by one person. That'll not only help PVMers, but also help PKers who don't run with teams. So personally, I don't run with a team. I prefer solo PKing. You don't gotta split loot. You don't gotta worry about like arguing with other people. And personally, I have more fun that way. It's more challenging. It's not as easy. It's not personally. I'm not bashing people who PK as a team, but there's nowhere in the wilderness you need a team to go. Chaos Elemental, you can PK there solo. It's easy to escape. Worms, it's a solo area. You don't need a team unless you're trying to trick skull people. Which, I mean, trick skulling people, come on. I don't know. I'm not against trick skulling, but personally, I don't see the point of it. I mean, you get a couple mil more, but I don't know. It's all that effort involved with bringing them over to multi and having someone stop there. And then on top of that, you got to split the loot. Unless you're double logging. And it's too much effort, in my opinion. But yeah, getting back to the bandit camps. I don't know. Part of me is really excited they're adding this. And part of me is also like, God damn it, Jagex. You guys have a chance here. Please don't fuck it up, although I know you're going to fuck it up. Just make it 3 different bandit camps. You wouldn't have PVMers being destroyed by PKers nonstop, and it wouldn't be dead content within like a week. I don't know. That's what I think. Amulet of Forsaken goes to Barrows. Okay, it's a Barrows item. That makes sense. A new reward shop, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Yeah. That's basically it. Hopefully, this was a little bit shorter. I haven't seen the actual time limit yet for it. But, yeah. Let me know what you guys think, specifically on the bandit camps. What do you guys think Jagex could do better on them or change about them? Or do you think Jagex has it right, making 1 bandit camp? Make each boss drop a separate item? What do you guys think? Because I am genuinely interested in how you guys feel about the wilderness updates. And I believe it's something that Jagex should be interested in also. It's the PKers that are going to be in the wilderness. Get their opinion on it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are having a spectacular day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Which, hopefully will be a funny kind of comedy video. Hopefully. I'm not sure yet, though. It's very hard to make, mostly because there's not a lot of PKers in the wilderness. So, yeah. See you guys later.